just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Saying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right, hey, how are we doing out there all across this great land of ours and around the world? It is that time. Once again, time for the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And boy, I tell you, you know that feeling you get maybe when you've been working out in the yard all day and, you know, you're slinging dirt and mud and, you know, maybe pulling weeds, you know, mowing the lawn and everything else. And that sticky, ugly feeling that you have at the end of your workload, you know, where you just feel grimy and dirty. I've got that feeling today, folks. I'm like, and I didn't do a single thing for it. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the left and the media. Just a new low today we're going to talk about, just a new low. You know, I wondered how far they were going to go. Or, no, not how far they were going to go. I know they'd go as far as they could. I just didn't know what direction that would take. You know, because I figured, okay, well, they, you know, what they pretty much do is just rehash the same things over and over again, maybe repackage them and throw them out there. But a new low here. We're now concerned about whether it's if it's better for the country to elect a sociopathic, pathological liar than it is to maybe somebody that just has a problem controlling his comments when he feels offended. And we're going to gauge our sanity level now as to what Donald Trump should be saying in any given circumstance. Most notably, making a sly comment or a smart-ass remark about a Muslim mother of a dead soldier. Okay, and that has just been the narrative since last Thursday. Will probably continue to be the narrative all week. Isn't that amazing? Also, that how quick little things become the weekly narrative. And the big things like leaked emails and collusion and corruption and everything else is just not as important to the American people, it seems. It just doesn't seem to matter. And so we'll talk about that a little bit today. We got Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio coming on with us after our first break today. And having said that, let me get my partner in crime on the line here. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm okay, John. Things that matter, things that really matter, huh? Okay, black. Here, I got this in an email. This is pretty interesting. Anyway, Black lives do matter. What if all blacks suddenly left America, which is 13.3% of the total population? The amount of people in poverty would drop 34%. The prison population would go down 37%. Welfare recipients would go down 42%. Gang members would go down 53%. Chlamydia cases would go down 54%. Homelessness would go down 57%. Syphilis would go down 58%. AIDS and HIV would go down 65%. Gonorrhea would go down 69%. Average ACT scores would go up 5.5 scores. Average IQ would go up 7.4%. Put in the U.S. third, tied with Japan. Average SAT scores would go up almost 100 points. The average income of Americans would go up $20,000 a year. But you know the bad side of this? Democrats would lose 76% of their voting base.
Wow. And well, yeah, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If that was to happen, we wouldn't have to worry about paying reparations for slavery.
Yeah, slavery. Let's see. All those who've had a slave this century, please raise your hand.
Yeah, but that's the big thing now.
Those that have picked cotton this century as a slave.
That is the big thing right now with the Black Lives Matter. They have put out their platform, believe it or not, folks. And in that platform, the first thing they're calling for, actually, they're calling for two major things. Political overthrow of the government and reparation to blacks because of slavery.
Yeah, okay, sure. Hey, but you know what? If you do mess up in the Democratic Party, you can pay a price. I don't know where these people are going, but the Democratic National Committee announced the departures of the CEO, Amy Dacey, the Communications Director, Luis Miranda, and the Chief Financial Officer, Brandon Marshall, all in the wake of an email hack scandal. Yes, so somebody's paying a price. It's not Hillary Clinton, but somebody's paying a price. Oh, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz still has a job with the Clinton campaign.
Yes, and by the way, there is already a reparations program in effect here in the United States. It's called welfare.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you guys have allowed yourself to be convinced by those who exploit you for political purposes to think that you're still not on a level playing field, that you still don't have a chance, that Whitey's still trying to hold you down. Yeah, and because of that,
one thing, John.
I'm sorry?
Had a black man in the White House.
Yes, and you have a half white man in the White House, okay? I just refuse to acknowledge the other half here because he refuses to acknowledge the other half, okay?
Well, his wife is happily to live there in a house built by slaves.
Yes.
And I know. Sure, Michelle, whatever.
Yeah, and I remember just recently reading an article where that was actually referred to as Michelle Obama, the descendant of slaves. Okay,
Michelle Obama is going to go live where? Yeah. Nowhere in a black neighborhood near you. She is not going back to any black neighborhood when they leave the nation's house.
Yeah, and the malls in Kenya. You want to go back to Kenya with your husband there? The malls in Kenya aren't like the malls out here.
Oh, and speaking of choice, are their children going to go to the same school that you or I would send our kids to? Oh, no, they're not.
No. And by the way, if I wanted to be really nasty right now, I don't want to be really nasty right now, but if I want to be really nasty right now, I might mention the fact that there's a video out there floating around of the oldest Obama daughter. What's her name? Shalia, or whatever her name.
Please, let's not even mention that because that's just. I know where you're going with that, and it's like, whatever. Okay. I don't care what his children do.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
Stay away from me, and I'll stay away from you. That's just to even. But,
my point being is I won't sink to that level by talking about it. Okay.
Is that a reflection on their parenthood? How they were as parents? No, I would hope not.
No, I'm going to employ the liberal strategy here of telling you I won't sink that low. I won't sink that low and tell you about a video of Shalia Obama, if that's her name, Mahalia, whatever her name is. I don't pay attention, but out there, at the Lollapalooza festival, out there, shaking her booty. Twerking or whatever they call it. I won't do that because we don't do that. We don't do that. We're better than the liberals. Okay, the liberals are out there will tell you, we don't stoop to that. We only throw vain references out there. Secret code words. We don't attack people right out. We'll just kind of imply or insinuate, maybe throw a little innuendo out there. Wink, wink. That kind of thing. So, but that's what it's stooping to. I only brought that up for the purpose of talking about how little attention. Now, I mean, like, for instance, I remember just when Trump first announced his candidacy, and there was some get-together, some rich get-together of college kids out there. And the daughter, Tiffany Trump, not Ivanka, but Tiffany Trump was with some guy. I guess she was hanging out with some guy. I don't think it was her boyfriend or something. But, boy, the media was on that for over a week. Just a photo of her standing around with some people at a college gathering someplace. And, boy, you would have thought it was the end of the world. The Trump daughter that nobody talks about. It's almost like the illegitimate love child kind of thing. And, but it's coming, it's just reaching a new low here. Just a new low in terms of what's going on here now. Now we're going to have to listen here not only about the re-release of Melania Trump's nude photos in the New York Post, but now we've got people out there on both sides of what I call the political asylum talking about whether or not Donald Trump is mentally stable, much less a qualified candidate for president. And so that's one of the things we're going to kind of look at today. You know, I'm one of the first people to admit that Trump has a tendency to put his own foot in his mouth, and you know, maybe kind of like lives in a parallel universe from Joe Biden or something like that. But the idea that what we have here is a pathological liar being considered above board, and somebody who just hasn't learned how to control his mouth as being less stable, it boggles my mind. It is an indictment on the American electorate today. We got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll have Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio with us. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We got a lot for you today.
A healthy attitude toward human politics will be relentlessly cynical. Consider us health food for the heart, mind, and soul. The ConservativeSyndicate.net. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment, credit qualification required, cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing, and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we have with us doing her weekly segment with us, Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio. How are you doing this afternoon, Audrey?
Very well.
Doing well. I'm glad to hear that. New York is still on the map up there, right?
Yeah, we are. Sadly, yes.
You know, I was watching a short blip today on CNN. They actually had some people that were really trying to talk about the election today rather than everything else. And what they were looking at was the electoral map, the swing states, and how important some of the states. It seems to be right now. Ohio seems to be the big one right now. Ohio and Pennsylvania, that kind of thing. And it was really funny to watch. Everybody was kind of going on this trend about, Hillary getting a certain demographic. Oh, she's attracting the women vote, this, that, and the other. They're playing all their talking points. And right in the middle of it, somebody says something. I don't even know which commentator it was. It was several on the panel, and maybe he said it off camera. Something along the lines of, well, what about New York? And it was like crickets. I don't think the Democrats are even looking at New York as a challenge, and I think that's probably could be the big wrench in the works.
Yeah, I don't think they should be so sure of themselves in New York.
No, it doesn't look that way to me. I would think, if anybody recognizes a pathological liar, it would be people in New York.
Yeah, it's true. We're talking about someone that swings between sociopath and psychopath.
Yeah.
She has no ability to show empathy. Everything's staged. Even her expressions are staged. She's a very, and my gosh, she's a pathological liar. It's incredible. She can't even remember her own lies.
Yeah.
She's so good at it is that she'll find a way out of it, even when she's caught.
Yeah, it's amazing how the spin on things, and I thought Obama was a good liar, but he has a teleprompter in front of him all the time. But she deflects this thing. The interview, we were talking yesterday about the interview she did on Fox News with Chris Wallace, and the way that she just spun. Not that Chris Wallace made any effort to come back and nail her.
Gee, what a surprise.
But, the thing about, he said, Comey said you lied. No, he said I told the truth. And I'm like, my head kind of, I went into bobblehead mode, like, what?
It was incredible. Yeah. Because she lives in her own reality, and she knows that she has, because of the certain position she takes, especially, if she's got any female vote, it's those who have had or are, in favor of, any women that are in favor of abortion, which is still extremely bizarre to me, for women to be in favor of abortion. They're supposed to be the nurturers.
Yeah, well, I find it really weird, that, and again, indictment, I'm on this kick here, and I'll probably stay in this kick unless I see some sanity start to take hold here in the country. I'm indicting the American electorate. I no longer blame Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama. This is an electoral problem. And we're sitting here, how could anybody listen to Hillary Clinton parade during the convention? Everything was about the children. Everything's about the children. We got to teach our children. Oh, I wrote a book. It takes a village. And Michelle Obama. Yeah, it's all about teaching our kids values. By the way, we've killed. I think the last record number I got was 54 million babies since Roe versus Wade, and Hillary Clinton's out there touting, almost like abortion at birth. If you decide at the last minute you don't want the kid, that kind of stuff.
Infanticide. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what she's for, unabated abortion.
Yeah.
So it's all about the kids that escape from the womb. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Use them as props after that. After they've finished, if they haven't been able to sell their body parts, then they use them as props for other things.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like,
Well, what is it that women can't associate that connection? They don't make that connection and think that on one, she's up here telling me how great, she's a fighter for children. She got a health and care for disabled and kids, and it's all about children. It's all about children. But by the way, I've supported the 54 million murders of unborn children.
Yes.
How do they not make that connection?
It's a good question, because I think more women are intellectually lazy than men in this country, and there's a lot of men who are. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, well, you know what? Let me ask you kind of a leading question here. It just kind of popped in my mind, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way.
I'm not politically correct. Go ahead.
What do you think about having women in high political offices?
I don't particularly care for it myself. I think that women feel as if that, and let's put it this way: I hate female bosses. I'd rather have a male boss over a female any day. Mm-hmm. I've had female bosses; they're the most uncompassionate, inconsiderate. They feel like they have to prove something, and because of that, they really, what falls by the wayside is the gifts that God has given them. So they have to prove to men something, that they are just as good, if not better, than men. This is the attitude. I tell you, there are some that are extremely rare, and that would be like Thatcher. Mm-hmm. But then again, she wasn't, our leader, so I just know about the things that I really liked about her and respected about her. But I don't know. I would rather not see a female president, because I have never seen anyone that has come up as a female, candidate that I really cared for.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you said that, because I don't feel so chauvinistic now.
No, you shouldn't. It's not. As a matter of fact, if that's a consideration, then I don't want it. Because it should be that the person is good for the office, not whether they're male or female. And unfortunately, for most women, the men are more qualified than they are, because they don't feel like they have to prove something. When you're not serving the people when you're busy with your own agenda. If your agenda is that you have to prove that I can do this because I'm a woman, is absurd, because that's not the job qualification. That's your gender is not a job qualification. No. And look at Hillary's running on, and I'd say that's quite dubious whether she's she would be the first female president, okay? Because she's much of a female.
Along with that line, because you just said something here, which is kind of, the reason I've been I've been rolling this over my head, and it's something we've mentioned on the show here several times, is that the difference between the two campaigns right now. Donald Trump introduced Michael Pence as his VP, and then they kind of parted their separate ways. Trump's still out there in the campaign trail. Pence goes his way, Trump goes his way. Hillary Clinton, she has her husband up there talking for her. She's got Barack Obama talking for her. Joe Biden's up there talking for her, and now Tim Kaine. And I said this to Joe last week, you're not going to see Hillary Clinton appear anywhere anymore without Tim Kaine. And lo and behold, 3 stops in Ohio, and who's hanging out there on the stage? Tim Kaine, just sitting in the background, waving, making small talk to people in the back. In fact, one video showed him kind of dozing off during her speech there.
Her husband?
But here's a woman that's telling us that she's empowered and she's empowering, and yet she's still relying on the man to carry her forward. That's my point with Hillary Clinton.
Of course, she has. Did you see that? I saw a photo of this, so I don't remember. Yeah, I tried to stay away from the Democrat convention on TV because I didn't want to hurl at any point in the evening when she was there. But I think that when there was a hug between her and Obama. Mm-hmm. Did you see that?
Yeah,
that was nauseating. It really was.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to worry about one thing though. I caught a short blip today out in social media that the New York Post has promised not to publish any nude photos of Bill Clinton's wife.
Oh gosh, I don't know what's going on there with that. It's I won't even look at it. It's nasty. It's nasty. It's stupid. It's petty. I don't know what they're trying to prove.
I can tell you, Bill Clinton doesn't even have nude photos of his wife.
Well, I gotta say, with all the money that they've been stealing for all these years, don't you think that, she looks like she's wearing a potato sack.
Yeah,
what is that with pants?
Yeah, I keep waiting for somebody to tell me, no, it's not an Armani suit. That was made by Omar the tent maker.
That's so funny. My late parents used to say that. Oh, is that who made that? Omar the tent maker, and I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah,
it's true.
And
it's the first I heard that.
I support the Iran deal because they've promised to make me all my pantsuits for free.
Well, can't Kim Jong-un do that? Because they kind of match, don't they?
Yeah,
they look like the same size.
Yeah. Now, along this line here, one of the things we have been discussing here off and on, and I want to put this at you right now. All of a sudden, last week at the DNC convention, one of the things it was just a blip on the media radar. Hillary Pelosi, there we go. Boy, there's a Freudian slip for you if there ever was one. Okay. Nancy Pelosi was being interviewed up in the box up there by a couple of women reporters, and asked her how she was going to appeal to white men, because she doesn't have a real strong demographic with uneducated, as they refer to it, meaning non-college degreed people and white men. And Nancy Pelosi made the comment, she called it the 3 Gs. Men vote against their own economic interest because of guns, gays, and God. And it got a blip on the radar, but to me it was one of the most telling revelations of how the Democrat Party looks at things. And all of a sudden today, I'm looking out here now, all of a sudden now, the DNC convention's over. Hillary's got a 9-point lead on Trump all of a sudden. It was dead even last week. Not putting a lot into polls. I don't put a lot into polls.
But she dropped.
Yeah, but here's the thing I'm getting at, is that all of a sudden, Hillary's picked up 12% of the white American male vote.
Just believing that? Come on.
Huh?
Are you believing that?
Oh, no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about how the media, we've been talking about how the media is just going into overdrive to just skew and spin, and just basically it's not even about innuendo and insinuations anymore. They're just publishing stuff out there. Reuters, what was it, Joe? You said it was Reuters, right? That altered their polling data and said they're no longer give the undecided choice. You can no longer choose undecided when they're asking you who you're going to vote for. And that skews the numbers. And Hillary picked up like a 9-point bump because the people couldn't choose undecided anymore. And so we're just seeing the way the media's out there. Like today, this article here about Donald Trump's mental stability. All of a sudden, is this guy really even mentally stable?
They're asking that compared to her?
Well, that's my point. Yeah, doesn't that just kind of floor you?
I don't even know what to say. What they say? First of all, he's not a politician, so he doesn't. Look, I'm not. Nobody's happy about stupid language every once in a while, but we all do that. This guy is not a politician. He is not well versed in watching his verse. But her, on the other hand, she's a pathological liar. She's a thief. I saw one of her minions on I think it was Varney and Company, and what? This guy said, "Oh yeah, the Clinton Foundation have been helping in Haiti," and I thought to myself, "Yeah, all illegally because you're not allowed to do that. That's not what the foundation was for, and they've been stealing all this money. It's incredible. Oh, but by all means, let's make her the head of this country."
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's like
insane. That's insane.
It's not the idea that even though we're hearing this all the time from the left, we're not going to sink down in the gutter with Donald Trump and exchange, niceties on Twitter and everything else. And I understand that. I think Trump has been his own worst enemy. I think if some of the things he has said and done, if he just ignored it, it would just go the wayside.
Somebody's got to tell him that.
I mean, he's given them something to talk about here for a week now over this Muslim parents at the DNC convention. Well, he should have just kept his mouth shut.
What happened with that anyway.
Yeah, he should have just kept his mouth shut. But anyway, we'll get back to this. We got to go to break right now. We've got Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio with us doing her weekly contribution. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Expand your life with Expandovite. When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Expand your life with Expandovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907. Hey, Bugsy.
Okay, hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative
Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we have with us right now Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio out there in New York. And Audrey, we were just at the end of our conversation before the break here, and I think you were leading up to, what's his name, Khizr Khan, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, any way you want.
I am just totally dyslexic when it comes to names.
It's how people write it, because we're not reading it in Arabic, so it's really the words just. But it's how Khizr Khan. It doesn't really matter how you say it, but what matters is what he did.
I just have a problem when you have too many consonants not separated by a vowel.
Yeah, so it really doesn't. It doesn't matter when it comes to these names. Most of them are just Muhammad anyway. So in this case, he got away with it. Maybe it's his middle name. Who knows? He proved correct what Breitbart News had been reporting all along. As people started to dig into this guy's background, he's Sharia. He's a pro-Sharia law, which is Islamic law. He had on his website, he's a lawyer. He's an immigration lawyer, and on his website, as Breitbart had been reporting all this time, that he financially benefited from an unfettered, as they put it, pay-to-play Muslim immigration into America. He also has connections to the Muslim Brotherhood. So it's
like puzzling. Hillary's.
Yeah, and we haven't heard anything of that really from the mainstream press at all, right?
Of course not. And he deleted, when he got caught, when they found out who he was, he deleted his website. But thanks to the Wayback, what is it called? The Wayback Machine?
Yeah, Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine.
They have a snapshot of his of the website. This guy was he's been part of the problem all along, and I have to even wonder, and I have a right to wonder as an American, whether he really supported what his son was doing.
Well, the other question we have, we were asking this question yesterday. It's not rocket science to understand why the particular people that were paraded across the stage last week at the DNC convention were chosen. I mean, I thought really kind of sly. The selection of Paul Simon singing "Bridge Over Troubled Water" was kind of cute.
Yes,
and
I said, that was the ode to Ted Kennedy.
Yeah, and then there was the what was the other one? Petulia Clark or whoever was saying, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love." That little rendition, kind of like a "Heal the World," line up all the celebrities, and everybody gets to sing 3 words, that kind of stuff. And the Kumbaya crowd out there, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't get one thing the Republicans can't do is they can't put on the theater the way that the Democrats can, because they don't have that many. What John Voight going to go out there and say something? It's kind of like that ain't going to happen. But here's my question. The choice of a parent of a deceased Muslim soldier, I found very intriguing. Why didn't you have just a parent of a regular soldier, right? And here's my question, because I've kind of been really rolling this over my head, because I do think Trump screwed up by saying anything, by responding at all in any way, shape, or fashion. My first response, if I had made any response, it would have been along the line of, well, Bill Clinton didn't serve in the military either, and for the same reasons, okay, that kind of thing. But my thing is, I just wonder, is it possible that we have Muslims serving in our military that are actually there as moles or cells?
Of course. Remember something, Nidal Hassan was moderate before he wasn't. And they saw, because of political correctness, that's what killed. That's why those people were murdered by him, because they saw that he started to become more radical. See, they cannot guarantee us that people who are Muslim in this country will not turn, as they put it, radical or really fundamental, devout. They can call themselves devout, but they're not following the Quran. If they follow the Quran, voila, you have ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab. That's what you have.
Yeah. See, I kind of look at it the same way. It's kind of like, well, I served in the military. When I served in the military, I served with people that were Protestant. I served with people that were Catholic. I served with people that were Jewish, that kind of thing. But we weren't what you would call practicing, practicing what we were, that we claimed to be. That was just what was on your dog tag, so they knew where to send your body, that kind of thing. But the idea here that we have, I would definitely question if I was in a battalion with somebody and I'm looking across at my buddy here who's reading the Quran religiously and at 5 o'clock crawls out of the foxhole to pray. I'm like, there's something here I'd be a little bit concerned about. Yeah, you can accuse me of profiling if you want to, and that's exactly what I will be doing.
But you're watching out for your comrades. That's what you're watching out for.
Yeah.
So fine, let them call you whatever they want to call you. You're concerned about that for a reason, because when it comes to Christianity and Judaism, nowhere in it does it say that needs to be superior over the Constitution. We know the Constitution was based on Judeo-Christian principles, but it does say that in Islam. It does say that it's supremacist. It's a supremacist ideology, and it must be above any government because it is a government in itself.
Yeah, well, one thing I remember, and there were some low what do you want to call it, low events that I experienced when I was in the military, and one of them was, I remember we had one guy in our platoon who was extremely, just extremely religious. This was a guy that sat up at night, while we were reading Playboys and drinking, he was reading the Bible and praying, that kind of thing. And I know that I don't know who did it, but I know one night he cornered some guy in the bathroom one night, trying to proselytize the gospel on this guy. And the next morning he found himself hanging outside the window by his feet. They tied him tied his feet to the cords, the chandelier or the veneer blinds, and threw him out the window and left him hanging there all night.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. That's terrible.
And the lesson to be learned was we all understand that there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole, but don't be talking your trash here while we're sitting here just trying to figure out how we're going to make it through the next day. That kind of stuff.
Sure, here's the difference.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's not going to kill you if you didn't accept Christianity. A Muslim will.
Oh, yeah. Now, I'm just thinking, if we were to hear about something like that today, hazing of some Christian out there today, and I'm sure it must be going on because the military hasn't changed when it comes to, what actually promotes camaraderie in the military. It's not your religious beliefs and not your political views. It's the other guy next to you knowing that he's going to be the guy that keeps you alive. And that is the underlying factor of everything. That's what drives and motivates you. It's not everything. It's not even God and country. It's staying alive. And the only way you're going to stay alive is the guy sitting next to you, or in this case, the gal sitting next to you, or the transgender sitting next to you, whoever it is.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, look what they've done to the military. Look what this guy's done to the military.
But anyway, I didn't mean to digress there, but
it's okay.
No, so this guy, you mentioned ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. Has that been brought up by anybody other than Breitbart?
Whoever's really looking into it, but they're, Pamela Geller, Robert Spencer, the people that are paying attention to that. You don't really think that you're going to have any of the other media, the major media, talk about that. Of course they're not going to talk about that. The freaking Washington is filled with the Muslim Brotherhood thanks to Obama.
Yeah, and now Joe brought something up here. I want to throw it at you this way, and maybe, Joe, you can chime in a little bit here. Why isn't something like this? Well, I think we know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why is something like this not being promoted or being reported on Fox News?
Why isn't it?
Yeah,
I have no idea. Whatever they deem as important, they remember that there is at least 17% that is owned by a Saudi prince of News Corp. So they're not. They don't report absolutely everything.
Well, I think Joe, you know the answer to that. What is it, Joe?
Yeah,
you know the answer to that. Why isn't Fox News reporting this?
Reporting what? The Muslim Brotherhoods infiltrated the White House and Hillary Clinton's staff?
Or why this guy that everybody's defending right now on both sides of the political aisle, why nobody's reporting the fact that he's got ties to the Muslim Brotherhood?
Oh, because that would tear down their little narrative now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would make them look they would make them haters, wouldn't it?
Yes, they would definitely be haters. But Fox isn't in bed as much as the rest of the media about this.
You know, you guys are veterans. Don't you find it offensive that they would look at how they designed this? They have this guy attacking Trump as a Gold Star father, and he's, well, not to mention what he is there, and so now, so it's all because of their son. That's the one, as you just said. That's who they chose to honor, a Muslim in there. Don't you see what they're doing? Don't you see how they're doing?
I see it big time. And what bothers me is this father has let himself and the memories of his son be a pawn in this little game.
Of course. Well, he's part of it. He's part.
And then the fact is it was Hillary and Barack Obama that made us go back there.
Yeah. I from my perspective,
made us go back there, and actually that helped kill this man's son.
Right.
But let's all jump on Donald Trump for being, I don't know, callous, cold.
Yeah. I like I said, I don't think it was the wisest thing to respond to it. As a veteran, I think the perspective that really tweaks me more than anything is not that they trotted out parents of a Muslim soldier that were killed for political gain, political theater, whatever, but the fact that these same people who are saying Donald Trump is a hater were attacking the mother at the Republican convention who was saying, my son died because of Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, and the other thing is all of a sudden now, all of a sudden Hillary Clinton now loves the military. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, that's it. See, I thought to myself, they know the military. Those in the military know they're not stupid. Although the liberals think those that are in the military are stupid, and that's why they think veterans are stupid. They figured, well, we'll do this to cover ourselves, so they certainly are not going to insult this man because, he's one of the new minority, right? He's the new victim.
The selected peoples.
Right. And so that's why I think that Fox probably didn't touch it because, well, we have a lot of veterans that watch, so it's kind of a two-edged sword here. So we're not
I think it's because they didn't want to be thrown into the same camp as Trump because they can't bash Trump. If they were, because there's people on Fox News that are in the no Trump camp. And the fact that we've got, if you go out there and you try to defend Trump and what he said, then you're putting yourself in the same category, and they don't want that kind of publicity. After all, they really adhere, they really hold on to that fair and balanced mantra that they're out there touting, and they're neither one. So that's just the way I see it. But hey, I got to interrupt everybody here. We got to go to a quick break. We'll get back here with Audrey Russo at Real Talk Radio. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
A healthy attitude toward human politics will be relentlessly cynical. Consider us health food for the heart, mind, and soul. TheConservativeSyndicate.net. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I am your host, John Matthews, Mad Prophet of the Airways, along with Joe Hakels. You can't handle the truth. And we have with us Audrey Russo from I've got those Bushisms kicking in big time today. Oh, okay. Real Talk Radio out there in New York. And Audrey's show streams on Thursday, every Thursday. You can go to her website, audreyrusso.com, and find out what's going on as far as her guests. We'll get to that in just a moment here. One last question here, Audrey. Boy, I'm just blowing it today. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. I ought to know by now I can't do that. So anyway, the big thing here is that, the Democrats are trying to paint this DNC hack as a collusion between the Russians and Donald Trump. And apparently, Putin is a big fan of Trump, and Trump is a big fan of Putin. But the real question, I think, is who would Putin rather have in the White House, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump?
I don't know. I'm going to guess that it would be Trump.
Why?
Not Hillary.
Why do you think you'd want Donald Trump in there?
Would you want to have to meet with Hillary?
Okay, that's as good a reason as any. I would think he would rather have Hillary in there.
Well, it's a good way to torture him. Stop, I'll talk. Right, yeah, I know. Look.
He doesn't have to meet with Hillary.
Eventually he'll have to meet with her.
Oh, no. I mean, when she gave the reset button to one of his diplomats, not to him.
Yeah, I'd say probably Trump, because he knows he's not a politician and he probably thinks he can get one over on him.
Okay, but I would think Hillary, because he knows she's a bleeping idiot.
And they have the goods on her. They have.
Yeah. They have it on her. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. More shoes are dropping, Yes. Another shoe dropped because now you have more people that have stepped down from the DNC.
Yes.
It's great.
And they're all working for Hillary now.
Are they all?
Well, the ones that matter.
I don't think any of them really matter, but yes. Well, I don't know. There's just some today, because they're going to release some more, and he says what he's going to release. It's kind of like an October surprise, is going to embarrass them. So maybe it is.
Well, Hillary. let me respond to that, Audrey. Let me respond to that, because that's something everybody's hanging, biting, chewing their nails, waiting. Everybody, and we've been waiting for this for God knows how long. That piece of evidence or that thing that comes out that exposes the Clintons for what they are. The trouble is, everybody knows who the Clintons are, and nobody gives a damn anymore. It's like, when you got 50% of your base, 60% of your base, knowing, 70% of your base telling the polls that you're dishonest and can't be trusted, and yet 50% of them still want this woman in the White House.
The 50% are clearly brain dead. So for whatever selfish reasons, that she's going to make sure that she keeps intact what it is that they want from the government, they are going to vote for her because it's out of selfishness. The other half, who knows? They might go to Trump. They might not vote, but you're not going to get the Democratic turnout that you got for Obama.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's kind of the ace in the hole here.
The idea of, we don't know, because the polls are so skewed and the numbers are so skewed, we don't really know who's going to show up and vote. I mean, that's given. But I think there's certainly more people going to be showing up for Trump than there probably will be for Hillary. And I think there's kind of an aspect out there, a demographic that nobody wants to talk about. And that's the demographic that tells their friends they're going to vote one way and when they get in the booth, vote another.
And that would be the ones that are Democrat.
Yeah, I agree. And but as far as this damaging information that's going to indict Hillary, I'm kind of like, we could find out that she's doing abortions in her next to her server in a cellar in Colorado and selling the body parts, and nobody would give a damn.
Yeah, that 50% of the base. You're correct. I believe they will, no matter what. She could be standing over a body with a dead body with a dripping knife in her hands, and they still would vote for her. So
they'd be saying, look how many tax dollars she's saving us by doing it in her cellar. I mean, it would be some, just really idiotic explanation, and everybody would just go, "Oh, okay," nod their head, That's just,
yes, sir. Yeah.
I mean, she can't. I just heard today there's a case of a guy who used to work in the FBI, I believe it is, and has just come out and exposed that he had actually given secrets to China when he was in the FBI. And what are they going to do? They want to hang this guy. And he's gone.
Not her.
They gave him 2 years.
Okay. And
let's give her 2 years then. Oh, no, she's not even going to get indicted, right?
No, she's not going to get indicted. What's his name? Tonto, the guy that was over in Benghazi. That helped make the movie 13 Hours. Yeah, he lost his security clearance, can't get a job doing anything that requires a clearance. He lost his security clearance, but Clinton still keeps hers.
Yeah, and Dinesh D'Souza lost his right to vote for giving $20,000 to Wendy Davis. And yet she's, I'm like,
And they have robbed. Hundreds of millions and according to Charles Ortel, billions of dollars. The Clinton Foundation, been around for over 10 years, has never had an complete audit. That's impossible.
Yeah.
And yet it's happened. They're paying off a lot of people.
Yeah, well, and just the fact that through the Clinton Foundation, Russia now gets a good hunk of our uranium over here.
Yeah.
The fact that the CIA and the FBI is not all over that just bedazzles me.
Yeah, Comey's a big disappointment, isn't he?
Yeah. They are all a disappointment. I no longer trust any of them. But the majority of the biggest part of my distrust right now is in my fellow Americans. That's where I'm at. I'm having real psychological problems over this.
You should, but that's always been the problem. You can't say, why is Nancy Pelosi still in office? You'd have to ask, what is in the head of those people out there to keep putting her in office?
It's San Francisco.
Voters.
Yeah, well, it's the Gruber theorem is what I call it, the stupidity of the American voter. But, I live out here in California where we have come to accept the fact that immigration is the thing that drives our electorate out here. Okay, and so I accept that. All right, we've got all the Mexicans coming across the border and everything else, and we got to take care of them. Blah blah. I don't agree with it, but I understand the narrative.
Well, it is the thing that drove your state to be solidly Democratic for the last 50 years.
Yeah, they bought their voter base.
Yeah, and so, but I'm like, well, what the hell's wrong with the rest of the country? We
got New York, and that's.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of border problems do you guys have in New York?
They're taking all the jobs, that's for sure.
I get it.
They come to the areas where they're going to get steal jobs from Americans. They say, oh, no, they only take jobs Americans don't want. Now they're stealing jobs Americans want.
Yeah. Well, we're out of time, Audrey. I want to give you a minute here to promote your show. Who you got coming on this week?
Oh, I got 4 people. I got Matt Barber from Liberty Counsel. I got Brian Duncan. Yeah. Remember Brian Duncan? He's awesome. He's a singer. You know that, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Professors Dave Corbin and Matt Parks from right here in New York City, the King's College.
Outstanding. You guys can catch Audrey at audreyrusso.com, and her show will be on tomorrow. What time do you know?
No, actually Thursday.
I'm sorry. I've lost track of time. I can't speak. I don't know anybody's name.
That's all right. I'm like that most of the time, just not right now.
All right, my dear. Well, I thank you for stopping in. I know today was kind of short notice, but I really appreciate it, and we'll be talking to you next time.
My pleasure always. God bless you guys.
Okay, all right. God bless. Okay, guys, it's time for the Edwards Notebook. We'll pay some bills, and we'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
The Democrats have themselves made the best case possible against the election of Mrs. Clinton to the presidency of the United States of America. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, during the Democrat Party convention, it was horrendous watching one progressive Democrat after another expressing hatred and spewing lies about Donald Trump. In fact, the Democrats did not utter one single word in regards to defeating the Islamic terrorists or law-breaking illegal immigrants, but were very quick to condemn Donald Trump, who legally worked his way up the ladder of success and has hired tens of thousands of workers from all walks of life. The Democrats have displayed more loyalty towards illegal immigrants than to the principle of preserving the United States' national sovereignty. Democrats even displayed their disregard for national peace and tranquility by having the nerve to justify and rationalize murdering police officers. There were plenty of verbal salvos launched at Donald Trump, however, but not a syllable was mentioned about the need to defeat Islamic terrorists who are following through on their threat to destroy civilized Western nations, including this one. I'm Ron Edwards.
At theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right. General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
And we are back. Hour 2 of the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Just a quick note of encouragement. Visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and find out everything and anything you want to know about our show, theconservativesyndicate.net. Again, I'm John Matthews, along with my co-host and partner in crime, Joe Hakos. And just to kick off this next segment here, article I was just looking at during the break here, and I hadn't thought about this, but there's a saying that many of us as Christians believe, and that is, you reap what you sow. And lo and behold, I hadn't thought about this, Joe. There are people in the House of Representatives that are on the no Trump wagon or on the fence. I'll support Trump because I said I would, believing it was going to be Mitt Romney or somebody like that. And now I kind of have to do it, that kind of thing. But there's some people up for re-election this year that are, have come out and basically, not either endorsed Trump or just outright campaign against him. And a couple of those out there, one of them is Paul Ryan, is up for re-election. I thought he was up for the next one, but I guess the House of Representatives is every 2 years, right?
Every 2 years, the House of Representatives is up for re-election, John.
Yeah. Okay, so
that's the reason why these people would have to go, because they spend 6 months actually being there in that 2 year time of actually maybe working for their constituents, and the next year and a half is all they're doing is trying to get reelected.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of running scared here, and I'm talking about this to lead into our next segment here, and that is the establishment types on both sides of what I call the political asylum. It's no longer the political aisles, it's the political asylum. People sit chained to their beds across from each other. And Paul Ryan's up for re-election. John McCain is up for re-election. And lo and behold, Trump has come out and said, I'm not endorsing anybody.
Well, not endorsing those two.
Yeah, not endorsing those two. He's actually all but endorsed Paul Ryan's opponent. What's the guy's name here? Paul Nealon. Nealon, I think his name is.
Paul Nealon, yes.
Yeah. And so, and of course the McCain people and the Paul Ryan people are trying to play it down. And,
they're trying to blow that off. Who cares? Blah, 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 blah. It's no big thing. It's just Donald being Donald. I told you he was a nutbag, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I told you last week when you and Bob Cardoza talked about this, and I said, hey, watch it. If Trump gets in there, these people are going to have to get along with him because the power of that pulpit, the presidential pulpit, is very, very powerful. And this is a big thing.
Yeah, and the most recent example of just how quick this can work. It's for good reason that some of these senators sitting in Congress today are shaking in their boots, wondering if they're going to get reelected, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, they should be shaking in their boots.
Yep.
And they're trying to distance themselves. Some of them are joining the Hillary Clinton camp, thinking, well, I guess I've got enough progressives in my district or in my state that I have to, kowtow to her. And I'm gonna mention some of those after we get back from our short break here. But this whole idea here, I hadn't really even thought about this. Turnaround is fair play here. And I was thinking of Eric Cantor. When I read this today, I'm thinking, Eric Cantor was a shoo-in. He was the heir apparent to John Boehner. And boom, bada bing, bada boom, he's gone. And it can happen that quick. Wouldn't it be great to see Paul Ryan ousted just for, if nothing else, symbolic purposes?
Well, just think what it does. The Speaker of the House is not reelected.
Yeah.
That is big news. And Boehner was the same way, except the power of incumbency is overwhelming at times. People just refuse to not elect somebody different.
It makes me wonder if Boehner resigned as Speaker, not because of any dissatisfaction with the job, but because he probably maybe sensed in the back of his mind, I won't get reelected.
Well, he was getting primaried for the first time in years. I mean, the last go around, and then he finally gave up the ship, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's happening all across the country. We're having.
It'd be great if McCain would give up the ship, for crying out loud. Go away, John. Go away.
Well, the fact that he's got an opponent that's doing well.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, this girl is not just some flaky fly-by-night. She's giving him a run for his money. The last time I heard, they were almost dead even, right?
Yeah, and so and the same here up here in Wisconsin with Ryan and Nealon. Mr. Nealon is giving Ryan his run for the money.
Yeah,
and I guarantee you, Ryan is going to be spending that money.
Yeah.
Spend that money and spend that money hard.
Yeah, all that money that the RNC won't give to Trump will be going to keep Ryan in office.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, look, guys, this is our short segment. We're going to go to our break. When we come back, I'm going to take what we just talked about and get into the next segment here. And I want to do this all, hopefully, in this next segment, because I want to get back to the Hillary Clinton stuff, at least by the last half hour of the show. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We will be right back.
A healthy attitude toward human politics will be relentlessly cynical. Consider us health food for the heart, mind, and soul. TheConservativeSyndicate.net. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
All right, hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and Joe's got an article. We just got to share this before we go any further. This is classic stuff, guys. There's no need to be worried, though. No need to be worried because there is no such thing as voter fraud. Go ahead, Joe.
Not at all. Not at all. No thing for voter fraud. I mean, they just ruled that it's unconstitutional to have to show an ID in North Carolina to go vote. So lo and behold, this is from Breitbart, and this is from a Warner Todd Houston. North Carolina finds 2,214 registered voters over the age of 110. North Carolina voter roll shows that the Tar Heel state has 2,214 voters that are 110 years old. Most of these voters are Democrats, and most seem to live in 4 Democrat-controlled counties. Some of these AIDS voters have already voted absentee. Many are even older than 110. In fact, North Carolina has an awful lot of voters that are 112 too. The Carolina Transparency Project did a review of the voter rolls this year and found that 631 Democrats who are 112 or older. By contrast, Republicans can find only 229 over 112 voters in the state, and unaffiliated found 39. And it gets worse. 2 of these voters, yes, they've already voted in early vote. Over 150. One in Gaston County is 154. The other in Granville County is astonishing 160 years old. Now, it goes on to say this isn't necessary evidence of voter theft. It could be a massively failed voter registration system, although it is notable that a large number of these voters just happen to be Democrats. But whatever is the case, it's highly unlikely that these centenarian voters will be able to get out of their wheelchairs or retirement homes and have to run down to the polling place. Something certainly seems amiss in North Carolina.
Just the fact that you have 229 Republicans still voting after 110 years of age or whatever, and 39 unaffiliated. Well, there you go.
Yeah, but 2 of them have already voted.
Yeah,
they've already voted, John. How did they vote? Did they at 154 years and 160 years respectively?
Well, we know how they voted. What they voted was somebody received the ballot at the home. Maybe they lived their last years of a family home. Something was passed down from one family to the next. Down in that area, that neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The home that was established in 1872.
Yeah. It's like the homes get passed down generationally, and I would be interested. I would be just interested, just out of curiosity here. I would like to know the makeup, the demographics that we're dealing with. Not just Democrats. Are we looking at black Democrats? Are we looking at it wouldn't be Hispanic because they haven't been owning homes that long. But
John, I'm thinking these Democrats are nothing but skulls and crossbones.
Oh yeah, I get that. I get that. But somebody's casting the ballots, okay, and that would be what I would want to know. Who has picked up these absentee ballots for 154 and 160-year-old and filled them out and sent them in? I would like to know that.
Hey, who needs to have to show an ID to vote? I mean, these people obviously didn't have an ID because they're so damn old.
Yeah, but I've probably got about 8 zingers in my head right now. I could probably throw out here, but I'm not going to do that.
To say that the election system, everybody, it's all good. To show an ID is just so unbearable a task, and yet it doesn't get any worse than this. So you got people, they got dead people already voting in an election that's 90 days away.
Yeah. And that to me has always been the biggest argument for absentee ballot should go to somebody who is out of the country for a legitimate purpose. Okay, I work overseas or something like that.
Served abroad. I'm in the military and served overseas.
But there should be no mail-in ballots. It shouldn't be. People, if you don't want to show up and vote, then you shouldn't be allowed to do it. It should not be easier. That's the thing. See, this underlines the whole problem with America today. It's everything has to be easier.
Everything has to be easier.
You just want to suppress people's right to vote, John. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, why do you need 90 to 120 days to figure out how to punch a ballot and mail it in anyway? Early voting. Okay, what's the difference between early voting and saying, okay, you get a ballot and it has to be here. You get a ballot 2 weeks before the election. Okay, because we know that the snail mail, these days is not as quick as it used to be. I got a boss that sends me a check. He lives 70 miles away from me. And when I do work for him, contracted work for him, he mails me a check. It takes me 3 days to get it. 70 miles away. Okay? It takes me 3 days to get a letter from my daughter from Arkansas. Okay, so it's like, okay, I understand that. Okay, if you were going to do the early mailing thing, you get it 2 weeks ahead of time and you mail the ballot in. Okay, but it's still the idea of being able to do it, being able to vote without documenting who's voting. I don't think there is any other country in the world that does that. I mean, even let's go over to Iran and Syria. You see the lines over there. Of course, their elections are rigged. We understand that. But you see them standing in line, and they have to get a thumbprint on their finger, ink on their finger to show that they voted, so they can't go in and vote twice or something. I don't know. But there's some kind of law everywhere you go as to being able to identify who you are. Only in the United States, it's like, we don't care who you are. Yeah, you want a ballot? Sure. Yeah, let's give you a driver's license. By the way, hey, you want to vote? It's amazing. It's amazing. But that's democracy for you. See, that's not a republic. That's democracy. Let's let the mob have their way.
Right? Come on. You just want to suppress people's right to vote. How dare you make it harder on people to vote? Make them show an ID.
Well, I do. As a matter of fact, I do. I do want to make it harder for people to vote.
Me too.
Yeah, I do.
It ain't to stop people from voting. It's to protect the sanctity of my vote.
Yeah, and we do have to suppress the stupid. I'm sorry.
Gee, John, it sounds like you're treating people like they're trying to treat Donald Trump like he's a madman.
Well, I was listening to something. I don't even remember where it was at, but it was just in the last couple of days, and it was a conversation about a theory out there that really, when we look at the way we're structured today and the way our system is run and voting and everything else, I know, it was the show I was listening to this morning. It was a show that I don't even know the name of these guys, but they're the people that bumped Glenn Beck off of Rush Limbaugh's channel, The Patriot. And I forget what their show is. I've never heard of them before, but I was listening to them this morning, and they were talking about this theory of this guy who's out there doing all these studies on voting and stuff, and he's come to the conclusion that that we never really get what the majority wants in this country. He said the majority never really get the people they want in office, and he went down this systematic way of how votes are eliminated through the process and all this other stuff. It was really kind of complicated, and they were telling us that they were saying the guy gives all these statistics and he just did some really research, and he said really what happens is the country is really run by about 14% of the people in it. And these are the votes that actually end up making everything happen. And, I was listening to that, and I'm kind of like, I can see some validity in that theory. He was just presenting it as a theory. He said, this is my theory as to what's going on here in the electorate, and that's how we end up with people like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump at the top of the heap kind of thing. And I got to thinking about it, and I said, that kind of makes sense to me because, and his underlying theme was that our framers actually designed it this way so that people that had intellect and knowledge of what was going on would actually be the ones that made the decisions. And I thought, that's kind of the best argument for the Electoral College, I think.
Well, it's the reason why initially to be able to vote, you had to be a property owner.
Yeah. The people that would really
understand the importance of who was going to be elected and what was going to be done were actually the ones that, because of the way the system was designed as a republic, they would be the ones voting. And so here, now I'm thinking of that, and I'm thinking, but look how it's evolved. Look how it's evolved. We've got the establishment in the Republican Party particularly determining who's going to do what, and they're just up in airs right now because they couldn't control it this time around. We've got the establishment on the Democrat side who created their own fail-safe system called superdelegates.
Yeah, and they were ashamed to be caught.
Yeah, and the whole reason is because they want to shift the voting power from those who know what will happen to those who either don't know or don't care. Okay, so what we're doing is we're shifting the power of the electorate to the ignorant, and then just going out there and pandering to them. And boy, does that not fit what's happening right now?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, to be honest with you.
And so I'm sitting there going, yeah, this is why Benjamin Franklin, this is what he was talking about when he said, you've got a republic if you can keep it. Okay, what he's saying is, as long as you've got intelligent people making the decisions, everything will be cool. But when you start letting the mob make all the decisions, it's all going to go to hell.
Well, that's the thing that I was talking about that Clarence Thomas was talking about at his commencement address. You have freedom, but there's obligations that go along with that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen because it sits in the air.
Yeah. Freedom is the ability to recognize the parameters of reason and logic and morality, and being able to willingly keep yourself within those parameters.
Well, there are obligations you have to follow.
Yeah, just not throwing everything out and just saying to hell with it, let's just do what we want. It's crazy. And so this guy's theory, I'm beginning to think, wow, there's some logic to this. And so I'm like, maybe the fact is that the establishment, we were all fat, dumb, and happy as long as the establishment was acting within the reason that we normally would set out there as the parameters and say, yeah, as long as you stay within this reason, or as Bob Costas once said, we'll tolerate a certain amount of corruption in our elected officials as long as they're doing their job.
Yeah, as long as they're doing what we want them to do, what we think we want them to do. Hey, we should let's pick this up after the break. I want to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, this is a good topic. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Expand your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Expand your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame. He owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world. Then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
Back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And quick encouragement, once again, visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, for everything you want to know about our show, theconservativesyndicate.net. And we were just talking about the break here. I'm really intrigued by this, the dead voter poll out there. I think there didn't we report on this sometime last year? I think it was in Ohio or someplace like that, where there was some really weird numbers out there. Of course,
yeah, Ohio, exactly. In Ohio, there was 100% of the votes going to certain people and that. And then later on, after the elections, especially the presidential election, there were people that were prosecuted for voter fraud in Ohio.
Yeah.
Actual, no kidding, election officials in Ohio.
Yeah, I think, and it was also
fraud.
I think it was in Colorado, too. There was some voter fraud down there. They were going into the college campuses and pulling early mail-in ballots, absentee ballots out of the dumpsters. Some people, students that had graduated. And they were sending, was it Bennett's campaign? Somebody got caught doing it. And it was a big deal there. In Pennsylvania, was it Pennsylvania where they had 110% turnout?
That was in Philadelphia, yeah.
Was it Philadelphia? Yeah. So, this whole idea, I understand, the idea here that if you really wanted to break it down into numbers, okay, the percentage of votes that are being cast by fraud compared to the entire electorate, may be small, but 2 to 3% is a big deal if you're talking about a small state. a small state.
Especially when it comes down to how important so many states are in the Electoral College map.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at here. A small state with just a few electoral votes, and in a close election, something like that. What was it? The biggest, the most famous example of that was the Kennedy-Nixon election. I think Kennedy won by 2 or 3 electoral votes, and those electoral votes were bought.
Yeah, it was out of Chicago.
Yeah, out of Chicago.
It's out of Chicago and Illinois, and that's what did it for him. And Nixon did not want to do the Al Gore thing. He said the president is too important a thing to let it go on like this. He did not do the Gore thing and challenge it. He just conceded to Kennedy and went on, and the rest was history. But like I said, he didn't do the Gore thing. Gore was, you're taking it from me, you're stealing it from me, and it was just as. The Nixon Kennedy was even closer than the Gore thing.
That makes me wonder. Given the fact here, as we get talking here about I'm probably going to blow the establishment stuff off till tomorrow, because I do want to take some time talking about Hillary's situation here.
About this freedom and obligation thing, and it kind of hits with your point about your feelings towards the electorate.
Well, the thing is that you were talking about Al Gore versus Richard Nixon in terms of contesting the election.
Because Gore was against Bush.
Now, if let's just take that a step further here. We have Mitt Romney here, one of the main spokesholes for the No Trump movement. Mitt Romney could have contested Ohio, could have contested Pennsylvania. He chose to go the same route as Nixon. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to do it. What a difference things would look like today had he done that and it had been proven that this was happening. Let's just think about it. Another feather in the cap of Mitt Romney. Why do we have Donald Trump? Because you didn't take advantage of the opportunity to contest that there was voter fraud going on in at least 2 states that we know of.
Yeah, well, he also didn't take the time to contest, and he capitulated to a debate moderator, for crying out loud.
Yeah, so, Mitt, you're just as guilty here. And maybe that's what your problem is, Mitt. Maybe you're so guilty about not doing the right thing that now you're trying to make up for it. But I doubt that. I think what Mitt's problem is that he's just a sore loser. And he's threatened, and the establishment is threatened. Mitt has some good buddies in the establishment. And, that's their job. Take care of each other. You rub my back, I'll rub yours. So, that is what it is. Now,
of that.
Yeah, I actually was trying to do it here during the break, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to look up the show. The name of the show is Armstrong and Something Else. It's out on the EIB network out here in California in the morning, and I'm going to locate this study that this guy was talking about, and we're going to spend some time talking about it because it was really, really interesting as to how this guy came up with this theory. That really what happens is less than 20% of the country determines what happens in government. And it all has to, he starts out real simple.
Well, that's real simple, John. 20% of the people control whatever's going on in life in general, because you heard the 20-80 rule. 20% of the people do the work for 80% of the people.
Yeah. And the other side of it is 80% of the people don't. How does that go? I lost the thought there. Anyway, the idea is that the minority is actually running the show. And I'm not talking about cultural, racial minorities. A minority of the people are running the show in politics. He starts out real simple, then it gets really intricate, and I got to actually see it in writing to be able to visualize it. But he says, if you take 300 million people in the country, 330 million people in the country, and you throw away the old people, except for the ones in North Carolina, and the people that don't vote because of their age or whatever, and you take the kids out because the kids can't vote, and that limits the population down to a certain number, and then you take the illegals out and you funnel it down. And then he starts talking about how these numbers affect within respective states. And now we're talking about how the Electoral College gets affected and everything else. And he just comes up with this theory that really only about 14% of the people in the country have any play
as to what actually happens in the country in terms of who actually gets elected. He's not talking about the agenda. He's just saying this is just how certain people end up getting elected. Yeah. And his explanation was to try to explain how Barack Obama got elected. And it didn't work out that way, but he stumbled on this other theory. So it's something that I think worth looking at, taking a deeper look at here, because obviously with the lowness, with how the left and the media is stooping now. I mean, I'm telling you, the narrative for the next 2 weeks minimum, if not the entire 90 days that we got left here, is going to be whether Trump is a raving maniac.
Well, they did the same thing to Reagan when he was running for president.
Yeah, but Reagan had the cool. He had the calm and the cool to stay calm and cool. Trump doesn't. Trump walks right into these traps. He does. They set these things up. I believe this is happening. These things are set up to bait Trump to say something, and then he steps right in it and goes for it.
Well, this is going to blow your mind. Someone told me this today, and I just kind of looked at him funny, that 20 years ago, Trump and Clinton got together, and Trump and Clinton made a pact that if Clinton ever ran for president, Trump would run at the same time just so he could do the stupidity thing and get her elected.
When did this happen?
It's like 20 years ago that they got together and did this.
Is this a rumor, or is this something?
This is what this guy was saying. This is how this stuff gets started.
Yeah. Well, I've been hearing the same thing. I've been hearing these little spouts out there, people going, the disenfranchised Gary Johnson voters. They're sitting out there, oh, well, this has all been planned from the get-go. Trump is a plant and this, that, and the other. I don't know. If there was a different tone to the election, maybe I might entertain that idea. Now, you want to talk to me about whether Sanders was a plant? I might entertain that.
Well, Sanders was a definite tool.
Yeah,
and the fact that how he used these young minds of mush and to go out there. But what Bernie really did is he pulled the Democratic Party so far to the left, and he pulled off their little veil of we're not socialists. And he pulled that veil completely off. It's like, hey, look under here, guys. What do you see? It's a whole heaping full of socialists here.
Oh yeah, well he has made the word Democratic Socialist the name of the party. We really shouldn't even be calling them progressives anymore.
Yeah, well, whenever you hear that, I want you to go ahead and I want you to look at Venezuela.
Yeah.
Please, you want democratic socialism? Look at Venezuela, please, and tell me, how's that working out for them guys?
Yeah.
Government is having a great time in Venezuela right now, but the people, they're not having a great time. So socialism is for the people, not the government.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, guys, we got to go to a quick break here. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. A healthy attitude toward human politics will be relentlessly cynical. Consider us health food for the heart, mind, and soul. The ConservativeSyndicate.net. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate. Again, just visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. Getting back to this, here's the name of the show that I'm talking about is called Armstrong and Getty. Okay, I've been able to locate the show, and I'm looking at their website here. And they're supposed to. They have notes here, but one of the things I just thought real interesting. Just mention it. We're not going to talk about it. Red Alert Politics has a poll out there saying millennials want Hillary Clinton in prison. Wow. And what it is here. This thing that we were talking about earlier.
Me too.
It's It's called the Arrow Impossibility Theorem. That is the name of the actual topic, and it is when it talks about when people have more than 3 or more distinct alternatives, that no one order ranked voting system can convert the rank preferences to individuals in a community-wide or nationwide election. What it's saying is, when you have more than more than 2 choices in an election, somehow or another through this theorem, the wrong person never gets the wrong person gets elected. Okay, not the real person that the majority wants. And we'll talk about this a little bit later tomorrow, perhaps. I've got to look over this, but it's kind of a little bit intricate. But it's called the Arrow's Impossibility Theorem, and the impossibility is that if you have more than 2 candidates on a ballot, neither one of those candidates or the candidate that people really want will not get elected. Okay, so we'll talk about that tomorrow, maybe. Okay. Anyway, if you got to go, Joe, go. All right. We'll just say a quick prayer for Joe out there. His back's flaring up here, so let him go, and I can pick up the rest of the show here. Okay. Take care, my friend.
All right. Don't hurt yourself.
All right. Okay. Now, getting back to let's do this. Let's do it this way. Let's get back to my notes here, and this whole back to the situation here with Clinton. I want to close the show up on her. I don't want to spend the show and just completely ignore her, because she is the one that should be in the crosshairs of everybody right now, not only voters but candidates and leaders and supporters. And this thing today that I was looking at just at the beginning of the show, I touched on at the beginning of the show, and it just really incensed me. And that is this idea that the media and eventually the Clinton campaign will buy into this. Right now, it's just being floated out there. Look at it like a leak. That's what they do. You leak something out there, you lay it out there, you get somebody to go out there and say something, and then you see what the gauge is. This is what Trump keeps falling into. The trouble that he keeps falling into is that somebody does something. Somebody in the DNC chose to have this con guy up there because his son was a Muslim and served in the military and was killed in the line of duty. Something that every American would appreciate. Somebody that, all due respect to that. All due respect to the parents who sacrificed their son. All that is legitimate. And the way that we think about patriotism and duty and obligation and everything else. It's all, completely, I'm completely in line with that. And I'm actually completely in line with somebody getting up there and expressing their opinions about war, anti or for, and saying, this person, I don't trust this person in power because I don't think it would be good for those of us who have our children out there, or our brothers, or our husbands, or sisters, or wives out there in harm's way. And I think this person would not be a good commander-in-chief for this reason, this reason, this reason. That's all legitimate. That's legitimate. That's an opinion that goes with the territory. But the idea that you pick a specific guy for a specific purpose, and whether this man is willingly or knowingly part of this, whether he knows he's being exploited or whether he doesn't, I have a tendency to go more towards, he might be thinking, they are exploiting me, but I lost my son. And so therefore I have an opportunity to do something. Okay. If they're using me, I'll use them. That could be the attitude. That's probably closer to the truth. But the whole point here is this, is that when you look at this idea that now what we're going to do is because Trump made some off the cuff remark about his wife in a hajib, saying, the wife didn't say anything, probably wasn't allowed to say anything. Okay, yeah, stupid comment to make. Her response, the wife's response, I thought was completely legitimate. It's hard for me to talk about my son. I get it. Nothing wrong with that. But now to take that and to float it out there. Now, what you got to do is you got to have the right person float it. You got to have the right person out there. Because if if somebody that nobody really pays attention to says it, it just goes to the wayside. It ends up in those 3,400 character links out there somewhere in cyberspace. So what you do is you float it out there to somebody like Ezra Klein. I didn't know this. I just learned this today. Ezra Klein is the founder of Vox. That's Vox, not Fox like Fox News. Vox like Vox Magazine or Vox, the Vox website, VOX. And he is the founder. I didn't know that, but I certainly understand it because it is one of the most leftist slanted, right up there with Salon and MSNBC, the rest of them, okay? And Ezra Klein makes an observation following Trump's press conference the day after the Republican National Convention. And Ezra Klein says, instead of focusing on a unifying message, Trump resurfaced the debunked conspiracy theory that Texas Senator Ted Cruz's father was linked to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Now, the backstory on this is what? Ted Cruz did not endorse Donald Trump. Donald Trump tells us he knew he wasn't going to be endorsed. I don't believe that. I think that he thought that Ted Cruz would endorse him. I don't know if Ted Cruz's speech was vetted or not. They said it was. I don't know if it was or wasn't. But the point being, the fact that Trump had to respond tells me one of two things. Trump didn't know that Ted Cruz was going to not endorse him, and so he had to respond to try to save face. Or he let Cruz go out there and not endorse him so that he could take another shot at him and do his Trump thing, to belittle somebody. And hopefully, perk up his supporters again. Hey, I'm back, guys. I'm back to insulting Lion Ted or whatever, okay? I think it's more the former than the latter. I don't think Donald Trump knew that Ted Cruz was not going to endorse him. And I think this was payback. It was let me take another shot at him, okay? Because that's what Trump does. He puts his foot in his mouth, and then he doubles down. He always doubles down. Instead of one, keeping his mouth shut, or two, just backing off and not saying anything, he just doubles down and keeps going. He's not willing to admit that sometimes he's a horse's ass. He's just not willing to do that. And so anyway, Ezra Klein makes a statement. He says, have we stopped to appreciate how crazy Donald Trump has gotten recently? There was no reason for Trump to say any of this, referring to his comments about Ted Cruz's father. Trump had just accepted the Republican Party's nomination. Cruz had been vanquished, booed off the stage. Trump's opponent now was Hillary Clinton. But he couldn't help himself. He couldn't stay on message. He couldn't suppress the crazy for 24 hours. Well, people started to line up. Stephen Hayes from the Weekly Standard, a conservative, quote-unquote, magazine. Yeah, Donald Trump is crazy, and the Republican Party owns his insanity. He says, I almost don't blame Trump. He is a morally untethered, spiritually vivacious man who appears haunted by some multiple personality disorders. It is the sane and reasonable Republicans who deserve the shame. The Republicans meaning the establishment and everybody else that supports this guy. All right? Again, it kind of confirms my indictment
of the electorate. That maybe it's the electorate that's insane. That could be the problem here. We got a bunch of crazy people running around and they're allowed to vote. That could be. But then New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg says, you know what, we need to elect somebody who is sane. Let's elect a sane, competent person. Bloomberg appearing at the DNC convention. Dallas Maverick owner Mark Cuban. I thought there was an opportunity, meaning Donald Trump being a businessman would bring something different. But, then he went off the reservation and went back crap crazy. Stuart Stevens, the chief strategist to Mitt Romney's 2012 campaign. Donald Trump is not a well man. So we've got both sides of the political asylum out there now floating the idea, testing it, sending it out there, the litmus test. Let's get it out there. Let's leak it out there. Let's say it. Let's get some of the B-tier people out there to say something about it. And let's see who joins up. I guarantee you by the end of the week, you're going to have Hillary Clinton out there with Tim Kaine in tow talking about Donald Trump's mental stability. The sociopath, psychopath is going to be talking about the mental stability of her opponent. Just think about that. Think about that and dwell on it, because that is the scary part. That is the scary part. The blind talking about the blind. All right? Hey, it's time to go, guys. We'll be back on the air tomorrow, 3 o'clock out here in the West Coast, 6 o'clock on the East Coast. We got more for you. We got a lot more for you. We'll be talking about this theory that I floated at you earlier, maybe some other stuff. Who knows? 24 hours is a long time in the news cycle. We love you. Visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hako, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.